Hello children. Today we are going to study about the process of excretion under the heading life processes. The learning objectives will include excretion in different types of animals, modes of excretion, human excretory system, kidney, structure of kidney, nephron, urine formation, artificial kidney and removal of waste in plants. You know that all the organisms require to remove the unwanted waste material out from their body. And on the basis of the excretory products produced, these organisms can be classified into three distinct types. A monotelic, in which the organism's excretory waste, that is nitrogenous waste, is ammonia. The elimination of ammonia requires maximum water to be eliminated along with the waste. So water requirement is maximum in monotelic organisms. So this type of excretion mode is seen in the organisms which inhabit the aquatic environments or aquatic habitats. Thus, this can be seen in fishes and other aquatic organisms. Ureotelic, it is another mode of excretion in which the excretory waste product is urea and the water requirement is moderate. It is generally the most common mode of excretion in case of terrestrial animals. Humans, they are ureotelic because they produce urea as the waste material. The third category of organisms under this is uricotelic, in which the excretory waste material is uric acid. The water requirement for the elimination of uric acid is minimal. Hence, this mode of excretion is seen in the organisms which are inhabiting water scarce habitats such as deserts, etc. So this kind of excretory mode is seen usually in case of birds and reptiles. Now, whatever be the excretory product, different type of organisms, they have different excretory structures for the removal of excretory waste from their body. For example, the unicellular organisms, protozoa, they eliminate the waste material from their body by simple process of diffusion. So diffusion becomes the basic process of removal of waste material from their body. Porifera and cylinderates, there too the waste material is eliminated through the body. In porifera, which are commonly called as the sponges, the waste is removed through the canals, that is the canal system help in removal of the waste material, whereas in cylinderates some specialized cells are present on the body surface. So hence body surface becomes the mode of elimination of excretory waste in these organisms. Platyhelminthes and nematoda, they possess flame cells as the mode of excretory waste removal. Annelids possess nephridia as the excretory structures. Arthropods possess green glands and Malpighian tubules. Mollusca, they possess metanephridia. Echinodermata possess water vascular system, and reptile, birds, mammals, etc., they have kidneys as the excretory structures in them. Human excretory system. Human excretory system generally comprises of various parts, in which the prime is the kidney, which is known as the primary excretory organ, which is responsible for the removal of the nitrogenous waste. Apart from kidneys, it possesses ureters, urinary bladder, urethra, and the urethral orifice. The ureters, urinary bladder, urethra, urethral orifice together constitutes the pathway for the passage of urine from kidneys to outside the body. There are a pair of ureters. There is a sac-like structure which we call as the urinary bladder, a short tubular structure called urethra which opens out through the body by urethral orifice. Now coming to the structure of kidneys. Kidneys, as you all can see, it is having a bean-shaped structure. A pair of kidneys, they are located in the abdominal cavity towards the dorsal side. Left kidney being slightly superior in position in comparison to right kidney. This occurs or this is seen because of the presence of large size liver on the right hand side, because of which the right kidney is slightly inferior in position in comparison to left kidney, which is superior in position. Kidney has two distinct regions. The outer region is the cortical region and the inner region is the medullary region. The medullary region is having numerous pyramid-like structures which are called as the renal pyramids. These renal pyramids, these open up into the minor calyces which together constitute the major calyces, which opens up into the renal pelvis, that is the broad funnel shaped part of the ureters, and this ureters, they are the tubular structure that connects the kidneys to the urinary bladder. The dimension of the kidney is 5 centimeters, that is the width, and 7.5 centimeters as the length of the kidney. Kidney performs various functions. The first function is osmoregulation, what is called as the balance between the water and salt concentration in the body. The removal of nitrogenous waste, it is also one of the prime function of kidneys. Apart from it, kidney also help in regulation of pH of the blood. Kidney even functions in homeostasis, that is maintenance of constant internal environment within the body. Apart from it, kidney also helps to maintain a constant concentration of the blood plasma. Kidney comprises of thousands of tubular structures which are called as the nephrons. These nephrons form the structural and the functional units of kidneys. Each nephron can be divided into various parts. Major parts are the Malpighian body. This is the Malpighian body which comprises of the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus. Then is the tubular part. The tubular part includes 3 major portions, the PCT, DCT and the Henle's loop, which opens up into the collecting duct. So you can say that each nephron is divided into one of the Malpighian body and then comes the tubular portion. So we can say that nephron is having glomerulus, which is a network of fine tubules which is surrounded by a cup-shaped structure called as the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule leads to a coiled tubular part, that is the proximal convoluted tubule. In the diagram we can see that this is the proximal convoluted tubule. Convoluted means highly coiled tubular portion. So proximal convoluted tubule, this is the part to which the Bowman's capsule opens into. PCT leads to the Henle's loop. So this is the Henle's loop which is seen. Henle's loop is a hairpin like structure, hairpin shaped structure which opens up into another coiled tubular part, and this coiled tubular part is called as the DCT or the distal convoluted tubule. The distal convoluted tubule opens up into the collecting duct. Collecting duct is a common duct into which 3 to 4 nephrons have their connections. That means 3 to 4 nephrons open up into the collecting duct. The collecting duct, it collects the nephric filtrate from the nephrons and then pours it into the minor calyces followed by the major calyces, which leads then into the pelvis, which then leads into the ureters. The process of urine formation involves three basic steps. First one being the ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration can be defined as the process of filtration of blood under high pressure, which forces many substances dissolved in the blood into the Bowman's capsule. After the blood is filtered out in the glomerulus by the process of ultrafiltration, the filtrate which reaches into the Bowman's capsule is then termed as nephric filtrate. So here children, you can see that this is the portion, the glomerulus, where the ultrafiltration takes place, and this process occurs at high pressure. Because of the pressure, the blood is filtered out along with the various substances. It reaches the Bowman's capsule. Now, the nephric filtrate passes then into this particular tubular portion, which we call as the PCT, Henle's loop, followed by the distal convoluted tubule. So when the nephric filtrate passes through these tubular portions here, that is the PCT, DCT and the Henle's loop, the useful substances are reabsorbed in the blood. The useful substances which are reabsorbed, it includes glucose, amino acids, some sort of bicarbonate salts, chloride, potassium ions, etc., which are reabsorbed in the body because they are needed for the various functions within the body. In the collecting duct, major amount of water is reabsorbed. Maximum amount of reabsorption of water occurs in the collecting duct. Now, the third major step of urine formation is tubular secretion. While the nephric filtrate, it is passing through the tubular part of the nephron, many of the ions such as ammonium ions, or you can say that the potassium ions, etc., they are there. Some sort of drugs, some sort of toxic substances like creatinine and hippuric acids, they are secreted in the nephric filtrate. The collecting duct, as I told you, they open up into the minor calyces. So children, here you can see that these are the minor calyces which are opening up into the major calyces, which then opens into this broad funnel shaped part. This is the broad funnel shaped part, that is the renal pelvis, into which the calyces open, that leads to ureters. In case of renal failure, when kidneys stop functioning, there is one of the process adopted to treat the patients. This is called as dialysis, or we call it as hemodialysis or artificial kidney. Each artificial kidney, it comprises of a system of tubes which are made up of cellulose and are selectively permeable. So these system of tubes are present in it, and which are fitted into a tank-like structure, that is the dialyzing chamber. So this dialyzing chamber, it comprises of selectively permeable tubes made up of cellulose, and it also possesses some dialyzing solution. This dialyzing solution which is there, it has the same osmotic pressure as that of blood. So because the osmotic pressure remains the same as that of blood, the nitrogenous waste which is present in the blood, it get diffused into the dialyzing solution while the blood passes into these selectively permeable tubes. The blood from the patient body is allowed to flow through these tubes by, or you can say that the blood is taken out from the body of the patient through a suitable artery. Generally, the radial artery is taken in order to remove the blood from the patient body, which is then taken to these a system of tubes which is present in the dialyzing chamber. And from the dialyzing chamber, when the blood is filtered out, when the nitrogenous waste is removed, the blood is again pumped back into the body of the patient through a suitable vein. But before the blood which is pumped into the body, it is mixed with an anticoagulant which prevents the blood from clotting, and even the blood is brought to the normal body temperature. Children, one thing is to be noticed, that when this blood is passed into the dialyzing chamber, the direction of the blood flow and the direction of the flow of the dialyzing fluid, it is opposite to each other. Here you can see that the blood is flowing in this direction, whereas the dialyzing fluid is flowing in this direction. So here you can see that the direction of the flow of blood and the direction of the flow of the dialyzing fluid is opposite to each other, and this is generally done to maintain the concentration gradient between the patient's blood and the dialysis fluid. One of the major difference which is seen in case of the artificial kidney and the natural kidney is that the process of reabsorption and tubular secretion doesn't take place in case of artificial kidney, which is generally taking place in case of natural kidneys. So reabsorption, in which all the useful material is reabsorbed in the kidney, it is not taking place within the artificial kidney. In general, you can say that 180 liters of nephric filtrate is produced per day. 180 liters of nephric filtrate is produced per day, and the total urine output, if we see in case of human beings, is generally 1.8 liter. So you can see that 99% of the nephric filtrate is reabsorbed. The substances from the nephric filtrate are reabsorbed into the blood. So this process of reabsorption is not taking place in case of artificial kidney. Children, sometimes this artificial kidney is unable to meet the treatment requirement of the patient. So such patients are then advised to undergo kidney transplantation. In this process of kidney transplantation, a suitable donor donates his or her kidney to the patient whose kidneys are non-functional. The kidney transplantation, if it is not done by a close donor, then it may result in some sort of immune rejection, which is called as the rejection of the graft, rejection of the graft or rejection of the transplant by the immune system. Now, after this artificial kidney, we are moving up to the next slide. How the plants, they remove waste material in them. Plants, as you all know, that plants are not as metabolically active as that of animals. So hence the waste product which is produced in case of plants is lesser than that of animals. Hence plants, they do not require a well developed excretory system for the removal of the waste material. But still, waste is produced and that is required to be eliminated out. So plants have developed different ways for the removal of these waste material. For example, the gaseous waste material, which is carbon dioxide during the night and oxygen during the day, that is removed by the process of diffusion that occurs through the structures, the openings called as stomata, which is present on the leaves, and lenticles, which is present on the stem. So these structures, they help in the exchange of gases or even the elimination of the carbon dioxide and oxygen. Another waste material in plants is the excess amount of water. That excess amount of water is to be removed out from the body of the plants. That takes place through two processes, transpiration and guttation. Transpiration is the process of loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant, such as leaves, that is called as the transpiration, whereas guttation, it is the loss of water or removal of water in the form of water vapor, in the form of water droplets from specialized structures which are called as hydrothodes. Generally, this guttation, this occurs during early morning hours, whereas transpiration, it occurs throughout the day. Some other structures which are some other substances which are actually considered as the waste material in plants are gums, resins, tannins, etc., that are removed out from the plants through old xylem vessels, xylem trichids, through xylem vessels. These are together constituting the heartwood, that is the core portion of the stem, that is the central portion of the stem, which is not involved in conduction of water. So that particular portion called as the heartwood, it consists of old xylem elements, and those xylem elements are involved in the removal of the substances like gums, substances like resins and tannins. They are removed through old xylem elements. Some of the plants, they even liberate some fluid substances that is also removed through the xylem, that is called as the latex, or latex canals are there for the removal of latex, and rubber is there, that is also one of the exudates, that means the secretions from the plants, they are called as exudates. So rubber and latex, they are also the type of excretory waste which is seen in plants. Some plants also produce some essential oils which are also acting as the waste material in plants. These essential oils are waste in plants but may be of commercial importance. Like these substances like gums, resins, tannins, rubber, essential oil, they are waste for the plant, but for humans they carry some commercial importance or economic value. You know that gum, that is used as adhesive, resins, that is used for making polishes, it is used for making glazing liquids, etc. Tannins is used basically for the treatment of leather. Rubber, children, all of you know that it is having intensive use in case of tire industry, or various other uses are also there for rubber. Certain oils are there, like olive oil is there, eucalyptus oil is there, and then you can even say that sandalwood oil is there, that is also having economic importance. The leaves which become older and get dried, they fall off from the plant, and the process of falling off these older dry leaves from the plant is called as abscission of the leaves. So this is another way by which the plants get rid of the solid waste like dry leaves. Certain other solid waste or solid toxic substances are also removed by the plants through roots in the surrounding soil. Roots, they excrete out the toxic solid waste into the soil. So this way plants are able to remove their waste products, and they are able to get rid of the waste materials out from their body. That's all, children, for this.